estate. Among other things, he has provided the complete Word of God, which is being accurately translated into more and more languages. He has made available an abundance of timely spiritual food through the faithful and discreet slave class. And he has given us the supportive companionship of a vast throng of fellow believers at meetings and assemblies. Do you take full advantage of these provisions? All who do will cry out joyfully because of the good condition of the heart. However, those who fail to listen to God will make outcries because of the pain of heart, and will howl because of the sheer breakdown of spirit. Isaiah 65:13 and 14. Trust in God when dealing with anxieties. Paragraphs 11 and 12 question. In view of the world's problems, what is the course of true wisdom? As foretold, a rising flood of woes is affecting mankind. When literal flooding occurs, a common reaction is to run to higher ground or to climb onto the roof of a building, anywhere of higher elevation. Similarly, as the world's problems mount, millions seek refuge in seemingly lofty financial, political, or religious institutions, as well as in science and technology. But none of these give real security. Jehovah's servants, on the other hand, do have a sure refuge, the rock of times indefinite. Isaiah 26:4. The psalmist stated, Jehovah is my rock and my salvation, my secure height. Psalm 62:6-9 reads, Indeed, he is my rock and my salvation, my secure height. I shall not be made to totter. Upon God are my salvation and my glory. My strong rock, my refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times, O people. Before him pour out your heart. God is a refuge for us. Indeed, the sons of earthling man are an exhalation. The sons of mankind are a lie. When laid upon the scales, they are altogether lighter than an exhalation. How do we make this rock our refuge? We cling to Jehovah when we heed his word, which often runs contrary to human wisdom. For instance, people influenced by human wisdom may say, You have only one life. Make the most of it. Pursue a good career. Make a lot of money. Buy this, buy that. Travel, enjoy the world. Godly wisdom, on the other hand, is in line with the advice, Let those making use of the world be as those not using it to the full. For the scene of this world is changing. 1 Corinthians 7:31. Likewise, Jesus exhorts us always to put kingdom interests first, and thereby store up treasures in heaven, where they will be absolutely secure. Matthew 6:19 and 20. Paragraph 13, question. With 1 John 2:15-17 in mind, what should we ask ourselves? Does your attitude toward the world and the things in the world reflect your complete trust in God? 1 John 2:15-17. Are spiritual riches and privileges of kingdom service more desirable and important to you than the things the world offers? Do you strive to maintain a simple eye? Of course, God does not want you to be imprudent or irresponsible, especially if you have a family to care for. But he does expect his servants to trust fully in him, not in Satan's dying world. Paragraphs 14-16 question. How have some benefited by maintaining a simple eye and keeping kingdom interests in first place? Consider the example of Richard and Ruth, parents of 3 young children. My heart was telling me that I could do more for Jehovah, says Richard. I had a comfortable life, but felt that I was just giving God my surplus, as it were. After praying about the matter and counting the cost, Ruth and I agreed that I would ask my supervisor for a reduced work schedule of 4 days a week, even though the country was in the middle of an economic crisis. My request was approved, and I started working the new schedule within 1 month. How does Richard feel now? I get 20% less pay than before, he says, but now I have an extra 50 days a year to be with my family and train the children. I have been able to double my time in field service, triple my number of Bible studies, and take a greater lead in the congregation. And because I am more available to help with the children, Ruth has been able to auxiliary pioneer from time to time. I am determined to maintain this schedule for as long as possible. Roy and Patina, who still have a daughter at home, were able to cut back their secular work so as to share in the ministry full time. I work 3 days a week, says Roy, and Patina works 2. Also, we moved from a house to an apartment, which is much easier to care for. We pioneered before we had our son and daughter, and we never lost the desire to pioneer. So when our children had grown up, we got back into the full-time ministry. No amount of money can compare with the blessings we have received. Let the peace of God guard your heart. Paragraph 17, question. In view of life's uncertainties, how have the Scriptures comforted you? None of us know what tomorrow may bring, for time and unforeseen occurrence befall us all. Ecclesiastes 9:11. However, uncertainty about tomorrow need not rob us of peace of mind today, as it often does those who lack the security of a warm relationship with God. The Apostle Paul wrote, "Do not be anxious over anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, along with thanksgiving, let your petitions be made known to God, and the peace of God that excels all thought will guard your hearts and your mental powers." Philippians 4:6 and 7. Paragraphs 18 and 19, question. In what ways does God comfort us? Illustrate. Many brothers and sisters in trying situations have experienced inner calm and peace from Jehovah. Says one sister, "A surgeon repeatedly tried to intimidate me into accepting a blood transfusion. 'What's this nonsense about no blood?' was one of his first greetings. Then, and at other times, I prayed silently to Jehovah, and his peace came over me. I felt like a rock. Despite weakness from my low blood count, I was able to give clear scriptural reasons for my stand." God may at times provide needed support by means of a comforting fellow believer or by spiritual food at the right time. You have likely heard a brother or a sister say, "This article is just what I needed. It was written just for me." Yes, no matter what our circumstances or need may be, Jehovah will prove his love for us if we trust in him. After all, we are his sheep, and he has placed his name upon us. Paragraph 20, question. Why will Jehovah's servants reside in security when Satan's world comes to its end? During the rapidly approaching day of Jehovah's fury, everything in which Satan's world puts its trust will come crashing down. Zephaniah 1:18. Gold, silver, and other valuable things will provide no security whatsoever. The only refuge will be our rock of times indefinite. Isaiah 26:4. So let us demonstrate our full trust in Jehovah now by walking obediently in his righteous ways, by proclaiming his kingdom message despite our having to face apathy or opposition, and by rolling all our anxieties on him. As we do these things, we truly will, as recorded at Proverbs 1:33, reside in security and be undisturbed from dread of calamity. After listening to this article, can you explain? How can we trust in God when tempted to do wrong? When facing apathy or opposition? When dealing with anxieties? End of article.